Hello, welcome back to Soul Search Sunday with Johnny Tiger on February 7th, 2021. My voice may sound a little bit hoarse today. Part of the reason is a little bit of beer I drank last night, and part of the reason is I have spent almost all day today talking. Uh, got up really early this morning to go have breakfast with a couple of friends, and we sat there talking for almost 2 hours. And then this afternoon, I had an interview. Uh, it was a pretty good interview with a blog talk radio on the segment called Beating the Odds with Denver. Now, if you guys want to, please go find that and give it a listen. I think the interview went pretty good. But anyway, the point is that was also a lot of talking. In fact, I almost didn't really have anything to say for today's Soul Search Sunday because I kind of feel like I'm a little bit all talked out at this point. When is the last time that you can remember that a friend, a parent, a family member, someone called you up and tell you something really, really awesome that happened to them? And I don't mean that they call you and then you ask them and then this just come up, but I mean they actually call you specifically to tell you something good that happened to them. If you can remember such an instance relatively recently or ever happening, then congratulations. That means at least there's one person in your life that consider you positive enough, trustworthy enough to share good news with. Now, when's the last time you called someone up specifically to tell them to gush over something really cool that happened to you? If you can remember an incident like that, if you can remember something relatively recent uh, that this has occurred, then I want to congratulate because that means there's someone in your life that you consider trustworthy enough and positive enough to share your happiness with. You see, the thing is, we live in a world
The time
of
is now 8 p.m.
a world of negativity. I won't just say society because society implies that this is just us. This is just this society. But no, as far as I can tell, anywhere in the world you go, anywhere there's a human society, it's a never-ending chain of negativity just going round and round. It's like the whole world is built upon negativity. And there's some basis to that. This is not just a random and baseless speculation on my part. Because when you really think about it, positivity doesn't advance the world as well or as fast or as strongly as negativity. Because positivity generally leads to contentment. And when people are content, nothing gets invented, nothing new gets created. Because you are content. You're content with the way things are. You're happy. When you're happy, you're content. Things don't advance. Usually, not all the time, but usually, things get changed, things get invented, things get improved upon because we feel negatively toward a certain aspect of something, someone, somewhere, somehow, some when that we want to improve upon it. A simple example, if you live in a house that has leaky roof, now if you're really positive, you're happy with the way it is, you think of it as, hey, that's not bad, we put a bucket underneath that leak and we can get free water, and it's nice this way, it's kind of cool in the house, and the sound of the leaking water is very soothing. Well, then that leak can never get fixed. But if you are very negative about it, you really can't stand a leaky roof, then you get that fixed in a hurry. Almost everything else in the world, as far as human nature goes, human invention goes, human society goes, is the same way. When we are unhappy is when things happen. When we are happy, generally speaking, is when things don't happen. So the problem with that is it gradually, through thousands and thousands of years, pre-program us to be rather negative. Now, nowadays, people like to say they're positive, they want to be positive, yada, yada, yada. But when you really think about it, again, we go back to when's the last time someone actually phoned you up to tell you something positive? When was the last time you feel comfortable enough to phone someone up to tell them something positive? Speaking for myself, my friends, my mom, my dad, almost everybody, including at work, being a counselor, that's kind of unavoidable. Almost everyone only look for me when they need something fixed, when they have problem, when something really bad is happening, when they're unhappy. Very rarely I can't even remember the last time someone called me up specifically to tell me something really cool, really awesome happened to them and they want to share that happiness with me. If you have parents that you have to converse with on the phone, let's assuming you don't live with your parents, or even when you do, when is the last time your mom or your dad call you up or knock on your bedroom door and say, hey, guess what? Something really awesome happened to me today. Almost never. Let's say you are parents yourself. When's the last time your son or your daughter actually call you because they want to share some extremely good news with you? Probably very rarely happen. Most of the time, kids only call you when they need something, when they're out of money, when they done something kind of bad, when someone done something bad to them, or when something bad happened at work, stuff like that. And that is the same with friendship in most cases. Here's the thing, because we live in a society where people who are depressed, people who have bad things happen to them, are, whether consciously or unconsciously, deemed just that bit more important than people who are happy. So a lot of us become very uncomfortable expressing our happiness. If you have experienced like going to work and you have something really cool happen to you, let's say you just found a new boyfriend or new girlfriend, and you go to work and you wear that on your face, you're happy all day long, you probably would have noticed that people start to hate you. Your coworkers, your friends, they start to make little snide remarks, little jabs in the ribs, just try to bring your mood down. Let's say you just accomplished something wonderful. There's always people that are ready to down talk you, always to bring you back to earth, humble you, whatever they want to call it. Let's say you just had an extremely satisfying, beautiful meal. Well, when you try to tell people about it, there's going to be people that say, "Oh, I don't eat that. Oh, that's good for you. You're so rich. You can eat that. Look at me. I'm so poor. I would never be able to afford that." And people will find a way to put a downcast on most of the good things you talk about. In addition to that, to be able to talk to someone about your happiness take a great deal of trust. People think that to talk to people about what depressing you take a lot of trust. Actually, happiness takes even more. This is why. If you are already an unhappy person and you come to talk to me about it, there's only three outcomes that will happen. One is I say something that doesn't fix anything and doesn't really do anything for you. In which case, well, you'll just find the next person to talk to you about your problem. A second scenario is you tell me what's making you unhappy, I make a comment that makes things look even more negative. Now, surprisingly enough, a lot of people actually like that because by someone else making a comment to validate your negative feeling, it makes you feel, well, it's so bad that you feel justified to feel bad. Or the third scenario is you come to me and tell me something that makes you unhappy, and I say something that actually helps. I say something that actually makes things positive, makes things better. Of course, and that's a happy ending. So, in another word, there's really no way to lose when you come to me and tell me about your bad experience, tell me about your unhappiness. But here's what happened when you come to someone and try to share your happiness with them. They'll either say something that makes you feel like they don't care, something that doesn't really have anything to do with your happiness. They just want to talk about themselves. They don't seem to care about you being happy. Well, that just throw cold water on your happiness a little bit right there. Or second scenario, they say something to bring you back to earth. They just want to hit you over the head. They want to throw cold water on your passion. They will actually say something to make you feel bad. Okay? Only the third scenario, maybe they are that trustworthy person that they will share in your joy and help validate your happiness. But comparing to the first situation where you are sharing your depression, your hurt, your anger, sharing your happiness, you run a bigger risk of having the happiness taken away from you. And let's admit it, in this world, happiness comes by quite rarely for some people. And when you finally get it, even though it's momentary, maybe for only 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, you really don't want anyone to ruin it for you. This is why people feel so uncomfortable sharing their happiness with other people. Now that we know all that, maybe, and I don't know if you will do it or not, but maybe it's a worthwhile little challenge or experiment to really pay attention to this phenomenon for the rest of this week, for the rest of this month, or hey, just for the next day. Maybe for however length of time you want. Try whenever you talk to someone on the phone, whenever you talk to someone in person, try to maximize the happiness and cancel any negativity. No matter what kind of pain you are in, no matter what kind of unhappiness you are feeling, try to find one happy thing, one happy memory, one positive thing to talk about when you pick up that phone. And when someone call you on the phone, rather than ask them, "Hey, how are you doing?" ask them something like, "Hey, have you had anything really, really awesome happen to you recently? I would really like to hear that." Thank you for checking out today's Soul Search Sunday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Music Monday. For now, have a good night.